Hello, welcome back. I feel like maybe I should have prepared a little bit more for this episode, but I felt compelled to just kind of jump on and start recording. So we'll just kind of figure it out. I don't really have a plan or anything for this episode, but we are going to crack on with it, and I'm sure it'll be fine. Basically, we've had this bee area set up for a few episodes now, and we haven't done anything with it. But now that we have soul lava, we can finally... Whoa, these guys are all new. Where do these come from? Productive farming? Anyways, sorry, I'm getting distracted. We're gonna actually start using bees in this episode because we set this up and didn't touch it for like 3 episodes. The goal originally was to get the Vibranium and Unobtanium bees, and we need the spawn eggs for those guys, and that's where we kind of need to do the productive metalwork stuff with soul lava. So now in the previous episode we set up soul lava, and that means we can actually get this going. But where we need to actually start is with the ancient bee. And this guy just requires some diamond bees with netherite blocks. So the ender bee you get from the end, which we should have, I believe. Yep, we grabbed those at an episode sometime previously. And these guys, we're gonna also give them the max treats. You can do that in the incubator that I don't have set up. Or you can just put them in the world and feed them the honey treat. That's pretty easy to do, so I'll just do that to make sure that they are maxed out. All right, now to get the diamond bee, we're going to need the blue banded bee, which comes from, I guess we could do cherry. I think the dark oak, maybe. If you press U on these guys, you can see what bees they spawn. So you can see the dark oak one can do the yellow carpenter or the green carpenter also. But if you take a look at the cherry one, for example, it only does the blue banded bee. So let's make a couple of cherry ones, and this will basically guarantee that we get the blue banded bee instead of just only having a chance. We will need some regular honey treats. Again, with honey treats, you want to press U on the nest again to see what kind of thing it takes. It's not always a honey treat. It could be something different. So I'll put half a stack in each one. And this will give us a couple of blue banded bees to work with. You can also time in a bottle these to make the timer go faster, but we were close enough where it didn't have to wait too long. All right, the blue banded bees have been taken care of. Up next, we need the redstone bee, which is chocolate mining and glowing. Chocolate mining. I am going to do the gravel nest because we will need the digger and the ashy mining bee also. So I'm just going to get all 3 of these guys. We actually got an amber bee from the gravel. Oh, here's another one. That is nice. Although the wannabes will be a little bit more difficult to get. But you guys get the point. I'm going to spend some time here just basically gathering bees from nests. And some of them, like the crystalline bee, will have to go to the nether for that, I believe. Or like the glowing bee for glowstone. And I'm just going to gather those guys up, breed them together until we have diamond bees. All right, so I've got all the bees gathered. And I thought I'd show you the breeding process too, in case you guys missed my bee episode where we set all this up. I do have this panel over here that allows me to toggle between squishing the bees and just breeding them. So I'm going to retract the piston, and that way it's going to be breeding only. And what we need is 2 redstone bees. So that's chocolate mining and glowing. And these guys, as they were coming out of their nests, I've given them the maximum treats. So all the bees that we basically breed now will give us that. I'm just going to make 2 of these redstone bees so we can use them for breeding. We do have a lot of redstone. I think, oh yeah, we get them from the geodes, so that's way faster than bees. And then we can grab our redstone bees, and what was next? Redstone and blue banded. And we'll need 2 lapis bees also. So there's those guys. And the diamond bees are ender bees with the lapis one. So let's grab an ender bee and the lapis. That's in our system now. We'll put those guys in. Oh, that looks a lot like the lapis bee. And how many of these do we need? Let's make, can we breed ancient bees together? That is the question. We can't, so we just need 2 diamond bees, and then we'll just breed the ancient bees together. And actually, I'm going to make 2 more diamond bees. That way we'll have the diamond bees as well. So now, with these 2 diamond bees, we grab some blocks of netherite. And we can spawn them in the world. Feed them the netherite. Now we have 2 ancient bees. And we'll probably need, I'll do 10 of these guys. Because we'll have to put these, or we'll have to make the spawn eggs. So we can put them to make the Modium and then the Vibranium. We'll need 5 of these. I don't think the Vibranium bee can breed among itself, can it? So these bees cannot breed amongst themselves. That means we have to basically make 5 Vibranium bee spawn eggs with this method. Which means we need 5 of the Modium stuff to begin with, and then we'll need to make, of course, more for the, whatchamacallit, for the Unobtanium ones. That means we're going to probably need more of these ancient bees, so I'll just make a bunch of them. And I forgot, we want to squish these guys. So let's turn that on, and now all of them that grow are going to get squished. And that is going to give us their type. So right here is the netherite type. So then we can grab these netherite gene treats, combine them with normal honey treats, and we'll get that. And we can just put that in a baby incubator. Just got to give it some power. And this will give us the spawn egg. So we have the ancient bee spawn eggs now. I imagine we'll have to make a bunch more, so I'll keep this going. But just this alone gives us 5 Vibranium bees. And then we'll need 5 more for the Unobtanium, because the Unobtanium bees, same exact situation. We'll have to get their spawn eggs, which happens with the Vibranium bees. So we'll have to make 10 Vibranium bee spawn eggs, and then 5 of them will get turned into the Unobtanium ones. So do need a few more. That should be good. 10 of those guys. All right, we are ready, and that means now we have to set up our foundry with soul lava. Oh my god. Where are all these guys from? I do want the phantom membranes. We should make a thing for these guys, actually. A prediction. Data model. Missed opportunity. Oh well. We have our foundry back at our old base, but I did make a little area over here that we can kind of build it in. So let me... I'd like there to... I don't want to like walk in and have the foundry be like right in front of us. So I'm going to give it a few blocks, like maybe at least 4 blocks, and then we can put it over here. And this should be plenty big, honestly. In order to make these high-powered heating coils, I believe, I'm pretty sure this is what you're going to need to be able to run the soul lava. Oh, the powered ones had a recipe change. Interesting. Before you had to make this in the foundry. Let's start with our controller. We'll need a couple of drains and fire bricks. Sure, we'll need more than that. I will also make some windows to put in the front and a tank. So let's surround fire bricks over here because I don't want it to go outside of the walls. And hopefully the sizing for this will work out. This should honestly be plenty big for us. Just like that. We will do these corners as well. Then put the glass. That should look nice and fancy. Directly in the middle here, we can have our controller, and then we need the drains. I guess I can put those in the ground. So we'll have a drain there, and another one there, and then we'll need the table and the basin. There's a table, there's a basin. We do need a couple of levers if we want to activate those, and also the drain or the tap to go on those. All right, now we do need to cover this up with the heating coils. I think maybe I can go down one more, and then we will put our powered heating, no, not the powered ones. We want the high powered ones. Even though we don't have this set up, I can just put this here and use a tank from like this advanced tank. And what would we need? Soul lava. We can do something like that. Take a fluid pipe. I know you guys. I'm using a fluid pipe. Maybe I need to do it from the top. Does this not work anymore? What if I do that? There you go. You just have to put in the coil. So we can do this for now. Just a very silly automation. So we put that like so. And in here we'll put the power coil things. Can we time in a bottle this? We can. So now we are getting the high powered heating coils, which we can use down there. And we just need a tank. So I guess the tank I can put over here. That'll be a good spot. Because we can connect it underneath to our Super Factory Manager setup over here. And this interface that's up there can hold our soul lava, and then we can just keep it stocked in here. Let's see how many of these we can fit. If we put our... I crashed. So I don't know what just happened, but when I right click on the controller, I basically just crashed. We do want that that upgrade that doesn't mix the things together. I forget what it was called. The stability upgrade. I guess we can just grab it from our old smeltery over here. This guy. So you go in there and I guess for now, just to get these bees going, I'm going to figure out if I want to like automate this or kind of what I want to do. I don't really plan on using it for much. Yeah, we'll kind of figure out what I want to do with it. But we just need to put some, for the time being, just put some soul lava in here, and I'll use pipes to do that temporarily. So now this guy, you can see the temperature is 3000 degrees Celsius, which means we can put all the Modium in there. Let me just figure out how many we need. So to get 10 ancient bees, or to get 10 all the Modium bees, it's going to require 4 ingots per. That's easy enough. Just 40 ingots will be plenty for us. So we're going to put those guys in. How does it? What in the world? How does that make any sense? So in JI, it says that we need 3000 degrees, which we have. Our thing is 3000 degrees. But this says it needs 3600. Oh, it needs FE. I think maybe the high-powered heating coils just does FE instead of the fluid tank. I may have not needed to do that whole thing. Let's take a look. Let's see if we can't use a capacitor. I can just make that in our old thing. We will need a fire brick thing and just 1 block of redstone. I am so confused because maybe the recipe changed because you used to need the soul lava to make this. Let's see if this works. So if we put the capacitor there and a gate on top. This is now going? That's crazy. Okay, so I guess you don't need soul lava anymore. Because the high-powered heating coils... Oh, sorry. The high-powered heating coils require soul lava. My bad. But this is better. Instead of using soul lava, we can just, use whatever it's called. Power. Then to make the Vibranium bee, again, 4 ingots. It appears that I have no Vibranium. We need 40 Vibranium. So let's just make those. And plus we'll need a block for the bees. Okay, we got phantoms. I'm gonna make a data model framework for these guys. Sniped. All right, that should give us a couple stacks. Did you not see what happened to your friends? We have a basic model now. All right, we got our 40 Vibranium ingots that we can now smelt. And then we do that with all 10 of these guys again. Then we need 40 Unobtanium. All right, then we need, sorry, I think I said 40, but we only need 20 Unobtanium. Because 5 of these guys are already going to be set, and we only need to do this with the other 5. All right, we are all done with that. Simple enough, not too complicated, just takes a little bit of setting up to do. And now we can make more of the maximum honey gene trait things with these guys. So let me do that. And so these guys, the stack, I want these to be able to stack together. So we have Metaternal, Any, and Very High. This one's Metaternal, Very High, and Any. So I'm going to change that. So the order of the treats is the same. That way they'll have the same MBT data and they can stack. Otherwise, they're going to be 2 different stacks. Kind of frustrating, I know, but it's what we got to do. So those guys are set, and we'll grab some cages. I do want to spawn these in and give them the treats to make them max traits. This guy can die. So all of these guys are now maximum traits. Let's go put them in some things. How about, do we have a double? Here's a double. You can put them in here. I will grab some simulator upgrades to put in there. And there's Unobtanium. And here's all the Vibranium. make sure to put their flowering items over there. So now these guys are essentially set up. We just have to kind of handle our code and what we're doing with them. Let's take a look at this. If we hold our network tool, you can see that all of these are connected by inventory cable. And I've connected this network of cables, I guess, to our setup over here. The reason why I did that is just so we can have access to that interface over there, because that has bottles in it and all that stuff. So let's take a look at here. The first thing I want to do is give this a name. And for the moment, I think I'll go ahead and stock the beehives with bottles. So if we take a look at some bottles, basically as the bees produce resources, this thing fills up. And if you put a bottle in there, you're going to get honey bottles as well as normal honeycombs. I don't know if I want that actually. Because we have the seeds, I think I'm actually going to just ignore that, and we can put a sponge once we have one. You can put a sponge in here and it'll just get rid of this animation. But basically your resource bees will be able to give you bottled honey and honeycombs if you keep them stocked with bottles. And I've done that in the past, but I don't think it's necessary in this case, so I'll just skip it. But the first thing we're going to want to do is pick up all of those things from the beehives. So we're going to input just all the items from beehive. And what we have to do is output all of the honeycombs inside of our centrifuges to process those. And if you take a look at productive bees, when you take a look at any of these combs, so for example, we have this like gold comb, right? The name of this gold comb is configurable _ honeycomb. And then its block version will be configurable _ comb. So we can filter every single one of those just by using those two names, because all of the data is MBT data. So what we want to do is output configurable _ comb and also configurable _ honeycomb to the centrifuges. And there's a new keyword actually. Is it in the examples? Let's see. Empty slots. Look at that. So what we can do is output to empty slots in something. No, I don't want that. So what we can do is output those things to empty slots in centrifuge. And basically this will output the configurable comb and honeycomb. I'll just go to a new line so it's a little bit easier to see. It's going to output these two things to centrifuges that are empty. So if there's a centrifuge that has things in it already, it's not going to do that. So that's going to be, I think, very good, both for performance and also spreading things out. And then what we want to do is output accept those two things to the barrel. So if you have something that's making wood or any kind of thing that doesn't go in the centrifuge, it'll just go directly to that barrel. Then what we're going to want to do is input from those centrifuges. And I'll use slots for this because I think that helps a little bit in performance. So 2 to 8. And we'll output those to the barrel. So let's see how that kind of works for us. I don't believe it. Centrifuge. Right, that seems to be working. Did we get our honeycombs in here? Yes, so here's the Vibranium honeycombs. We do also have to do power, so let's do that. We're going to input that FE from the interface and output it to the centrifuges. And then we need to label the interface over here. So this guy's starting to process now. All right, and the wax goes over here. We're getting honey inside of these machines. So we need to take care of the honey as well. What I'm going to do is make a fluid cell that we can put the honey in. I am being bottlenecked major time by our furnaces. So this pattern provider only has a return inventory of 9 slots. So that means as one of these 4 furnaces is outputting it, the other ones don't have room to also output it. So it basically just makes it so only one can output at a time. And I guess 3 more because it's 6 slots. So you can see how there's 9 total. And as soon as those ones are done, these guys are going to continue to make it. So I will have to figure out a solution to that at some point. All right, we want to make sure we do the productive bees honey in here. And I will put that over there. So now we have storage for honey in our system as well. And what we can do is when we're picking up from the centrifuge, we can also do fluids. So we can say input fluid from centrifuge, output that to the interface. And now if we look in our system, we have the honey building up over there. All right, so that gives us nuggets and also wax. I want to make sure those have cells to go into. So let's make a few more bulk cells. And we'll partition the wax. We want Vibranium. And I will like to do the ingot form. And the nice thing about these compression, the bulk storages is with the compression card, I don't actually have to, what do you call it? Compress the ingots inside of or compress the nuggets inside of the barrel. I can just output it to the cell and then it'll get taken care of just like that. So that's that. And then I think what I'm going to do, so I like having this barrel to be able to check to see what they're producing, because right now I know exactly we're getting wax and then also these 2 nuggets. So what I'm going to do is build in a little redstone contraption, I think, or a little redstone trigger. So I'll say every redstone, actually no, every 20 ticks do if redstone is greater than 0. So if we have a redstone signal, we're going to input from the barrel and output the items to the interface. And we need 2 ends to end like that. So what this means is it is an invalid program because we forgot a then. If redstone is greater than 0, then input from barrel output to thing. And we can put a little lever on this guy, which will allow us to toggle it on and off. So right now I know that this is, you know, all we have. So I can turn this on and those will go to our system. And let's say we add some more bees in the future and I don't know exactly how I want to filter it or process it or whatever. I can turn this off and then put those bees in, and as they get smelted or whatever, then everything from our bees that's being produced will buffer inside of this barrel rather than go inside of our AE2 system. So it just gives me a place to see what's coming in and how to filter things and how to process things. So I think that will kind of work out just fine for us. Get wrecked. All right. And with that, I want to get our Draconic Bees, because again, these guys are very important. And we need the egg, right? Dragon egg. Do we not have an extractor set for dragon eggs? I'm going to do this temporarily real quick over here. I didn't want to do that. There you go. That's how you want to set it up. If you take a look at Dragon Egg, I'll just show, I've showed this before, but the orientation is what you need to look at to see basically what orientation to set up the extractor. The green is the extractor and the white is basically your target block, whatever the extractor is sitting on. So in this case, you can see that the orientation of the dragon egg recipe, the extractor, the green one, is on the bottom of whatever the target block is. This is the only orientation that it will work in. So that's why you have to set it up in this direction. If you take a look at something else, you can see, like, for example, this one, it's green all around. That means the orientation doesn't matter. You can set it up sideways, you know, upside down, whatever, and it's all going to work. There's only a couple exceptions to that. One is the chorus fruit. So again, you see that the extractor, the green, is on the bottom. So this is the only orientation this will work in. And same thing with the dragon egg. And I guess Grains of Infinity also. So there's a few exceptions to that, but for the most part, you can kind of have it set up in whatever orientation. We'll take a dragon egg and we can just put that guy over here. And this will be our Draconic Bees. These guys are very important to give us those draconic things. These combs will give us draconic dust, and I want to keep those in bulk cells as well, I guess. This one doesn't look like the compression module works for it, because I'm not getting the thing on the bottom. So I think maybe we'll just save it as the draconic chunk, and then we can set up a pattern for it for one of our quantum computers. So what we can do is make this thing, and we put that inside of a quantum computer and turn it on. And now every time we get those draconic dusts, it'll combine it down into chunks. And those chunks will go into the bulk storage cell. And you can see it's spreading out all of those combs to different ones. Once we get more of those draconic chunk things, then we can make upgrades for this. The best upgrades for your centrifuges is going to be 2 of the Omega upgrades and then 2 of the Speedier upgrades. That will basically make these guys work instantly. All right, guys, I think that's where I'm going to leave it for this episode. We finally have our bees up and running. It's a fairly simple setup at this point, I guess. But we're not going to really rely on bees for our ore generation. We'll just be using it for some off cases where you can't get it with geores or, you know, some other way. So anyways, thank you for watching this episode, and I will see you in the next one.